4:30. We're entering the final 2-week stretch before Christmas, and parents could be feeling very stressed this time of year, but it is important to take time to refocus on the actual purpose of the holiday season. Joining us now with some tips, Rondalyn Whitney, a professor of occupational therapy at Quinnipiac University. Thank you so much for being with us.
Yeah, thank you for having me and allowing me to talk about this. It's so important this time of year.
It is. It's the most wonderful time of year, as we always say, but it also can be the most stressful time of the year. What do you
Right.
suggest to families to really understand why we are celebrating and not make it all about the fine china and the gifts and all of that other stuff that
Right.
comes with it?
Right. Well, I think it's important to understand that what helps us feel centered in our lives are habits and routines, and holidays disrupt all of that. And we forget that our children have these little immature nervous systems, and we ask a lot of them, we ask a lot of ourselves. So the most important thing during this time of the year is to really think about what is the value behind the activity, the occupation. So for example, if what you really value is that wonderful time together with your family in the kitchen, and you associate that with making grandma's cookies, maybe your kids have sensory problems and touching sticky cookie dough is a really upsetting activity for them. But if what you really want is to have that time together, then what can you do that allows you to have the time together? So it's not the thing, it's the value that you're trying to bring into the holidays.
I think we've gotten so far away from the reason for this season. How do we recenter and really make it about family instead of making sure the dinner's perfect and maybe you have the perfect
Right.
gift and everything else that encompasses it?
Right. That's such a great question. And I think the reason for the season is really looking at feeling a sense of spirit and feeling a sense of togetherness and feeling a sense of, something bigger than us. That's why we give gifts, right? But at the same time, if we really think about what do I do today that will help my family experience that? It's not about the china. Maybe it's about pizza under the table with a flashlight, right? If what you have is feeling together, that's what you have. And to really stop and think about what is the most important thing for me here? What memory do I want to create? What feeling do I want to engender? And then all this stuff is just props. And you get to pick whatever props you like. I have some props I like, but it's not about the props. It's about the feeling and making very good choices based on your family's values and your values. And that might mean that you want one of those props, but maybe you have, you know, dessert on grandma's china after the kids go to bed, right? And then you have paper plates with the kids when they're up. That you really take the time to think through what would give you the spirit of the season. Because ultimately, as a mother of 2 adult boys, that's what they remember. They remember the feeling of the holiday. And so that's really what we want to give our children. And sometimes we get caught up in the props and the trappings. And we don't understand how disruptive the holidays can be with our habits and routines. And so we want to take the time to rest and restore and understand that we're dealing with little people who need time to recover and whose little sensory systems are still developing.
I think it's a really important point you brought up about the kids, because little kids, big kids, they're always listening and they can really
Yeah,
sense their parents' stress. And as much as we try to hide that stress, they're very keen and can see it from a mile away. How important
that's
to,
right.
it's going to trickle down to them and they're listening. So is it also on us to make sure that we're trying to, just really enjoy and have fun
Right.
instead of making it all about the materialistic things?
Right. Right. That's such a good point. And they really do. They're like little radars, right? But they don't have the way to verbalize what they're feeling and experiencing. And so I think it's really important for us, as you say, to really look at what would bring me joy today, what would make me happy today. And as a mother and as a therapist, I will tell you the thing that makes us the most happy is those little kids being happy, right? And as we say, if mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy, right? Like it's a circle. So we really want to take the time to say, what is it my kid would like? Like I've worked with kids, and what they wanted more than anything was to go outside, and we do an activity where we make Christmas for the birds, where we take pine cones and stuff them with peanut butter or other kinds of Crisco, roll them in bird seed and hang them all over the backyard. They love that. They're so joyful in doing that, and it's a total mess, but it's outside. maybe inside the house is still a mess, but the kids are so full of joy that you can kind of let the inside go a little bit, because what you really wanted, what I really wanted, was to see that joy in the children's face. And that's what they remember year after year after year. So to me, that's the best gift we can give to each other, is to set up activities that brings everybody some happiness, whatever it is, and really let that be the purpose of each day during the season, and to give us a chance to restore, right? Like, it's stressful, so we need to take a break too, whatever that looks like.
Yes, remember to keep it joyful. A lot of good information. I'm sure you've helped recenter a lot of us, including myself. Professor Rondalyn Whitney with Quinnipiac University, thank you so much for being with us, and
Thank
happy
you.
holidays to you.
You too. Take care.